I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am a little bit burnt. Let me turn around real quick, show you guys my back. That is burnt. That is a little burnt. The back, it does hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't put any suntan lotion on yesterday. I was being really stupid. This is why I say, do as I say, not as I do, because sometimes I do dumb things and I just go and do things and don't really think about it. I guess we're all human. I guess we all make mistakes like that. Speaking of things that we do because we're human, I went completely off my macros last night, which is what we're going to talk about today, why it happened, and there are a ton of different reasons why it happened, why it could have happened. I was really hungry yesterday, like all day. Number one, I'm not going to talk about this just yet because we're about to go work a legs deload. This is deload week. But let me just say, we walked on the beach for, I don't know, 4 hours, 4.5 hours. Really hot sun. For me, for different reasons, I burn a lot of calories when I'm walking on the beach. So, you know, my normal refeed day is such where I'm just sitting here all day. I'm not really doing anything. Like, I'm completely sedentary, sitting here at the house. And I eat around 500 carbs on my refeed day, typically. Fat's usually around 55, 60 grams, protein 170, 180. Let's just go ahead and talk about this now. We'll talk more about it later as the day goes on. So yesterday, kind of didn't eat really that much all day. We were driving a good bit of the day, and then on the beach a good bit of the day. Pretty much that's what we were doing on the beach a good bit of the day. So I wasn't eating my normal high volume foods, number one. I ate a couple of Arby's sandwiches, like the beef, which are extremely calorie dense and low volume, like literally 14 grams of fat in one. I got 2, complete cookie. These are things that I was eating early in the day because we were driving and I didn't really prepare to go on the trip. So they were not satiating me at all. So I was literally like starving like all day in the beach. Probably burned over 1,000 calories walking on the beach, if not even more than that, just because I burn a lot of calories when I'm walking on the beach. I've noticed that pretty much, for me specifically, when I go to the beach, I can eat whatever I want to, and as long as I walk on the beach most of that day, I don't gain any weight. If anything, I could eat like a crap ton of calories, like over 3,000, and then end up losing weight when I get back from the beach. That's something that happens with me. I also lose a lot of water weight. Everybody loses a lot of water weight when they're on the beach because, you know, the beach is going to be drawing water weight out of you because it's hot sun. You know, get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying there? Makes you look a little bit leaner. Kind of cool stuff. But look how freaking red I am. Oh my god. I'm so burnt. It doesn't hurt as bad as it looks right here in this light. It does hurt though. I am definitely burnt. But number one, I was eating low volume, calorie dense foods all day that were not satiating, were not filling. Number two, yesterday was my 7th day before a refeed, and also the same day that I hit a new low, 176, which means I was very depleted. When I hit my new lows, usually is when I'm at my most depleted points, and that's usually when I'm needing that's usually when I'm needing a refeed day. So on top of that, I needed a refeed really bad. I wasn't eating foods that were satiated because I wasn't paying attention to being satiated early in the day. I was awake from 5 a.m. Yesterday. We left at 5 a.m. so I was awake from 5 a.m. to 1 a.m. So there was a long period of time where I was awake, and when you're on a diet like I'm on, and it's pretty extreme calorie deficit day to day, I know this sounds silly, but the longer you're awake, the more time that you have to think about food. And if you're awake for near 24 hours straight, and you're really hungry that entire time because you're eating low volume food, it's really difficult. And so I did pretty good, like all day. Stayed under my macros. Literally, it was like 8 p.m. and I'd still only eaten 260 carbs. So we went and got this little cookie thing. I don't even know what you would call it. It was like a cookie marshmallow ice cream thing. And that was going to finish my macros. I still had a little bit of fat left, and I still had 240 grams of carbs left and a couple grams of protein left. So like literally still had a lot of macros left. So I ate that. That probably got me pretty close to like 500 carbs. I don't really know. But here's the thing, guys. At that 500 carbs, it would have been my normal refeed, but it wouldn't really been that great of a refeed because I was on the beach all day, because that probably drained me of almost 1,000 calories right there, I would say. So usually on that refeed, I'm getting extra calories and I'm sedentary, so it's just kind of sitting, and I'm expecting to look kind of bloated after the refeed day because I'm purposely trying to load up for the next week of extreme caloric deficit. But on this day, I was at the beach like literally all day, walking, moving around, doing different things, you know, playing with the drone, all this sort of stuff. So I would venture to believe that I'd probably burn close to 1,000 calories over what I would normally burn on a refeed day. With that said, when I came home, got home at like 1 o'clock, I was like really hungry, and like that crate, like I was just bad. I was like, all right, I'm gonna eat something. I ended up eating a lot of things. I ended up eating like a small peanut butter, and I didn't like put a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on. I was want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I want a couple pieces of chocolate. I want like cheese bread, and what else? What else? I don't even know. I ate a couple things. I probably ate like 800 calories when I got home, which for a second I was mad at myself, but then I was like, I just walked on the beach like half the day, and I probably burned off so many calories that on top of me not eating high volume today, that my body is craving some calories because it's the refeed day, so it's normally when I get a certain amount of calories and I'm sedentary. So I'm not beating myself up over it. I don't look fat right now. I look like I had a refeed. So I'm not doing a bodybuilding show. So I would be really angry at myself if I was doing a bodybuilding show. I would just have starved myself. But here's the thing, guys, right now. Here's the thing. This is a long-term thing. I want to stay lean most of this year. Once I'm done with summer shredding, I'm either going to keep cutting or I'm just going to kind of maintain it. And in order to kind of mentally get used to this, I need to kind of splurge here and there, because I'm not going to bulk back up after this. I'm not restricting my calories and like, you know, keeping everything low because I know I'm going to like bulk back up. I'm going to stay lean for a little while, just for different reasons. Going over a little bit one day every month, not really that big of a deal. I don't recommend it. If I'm working with a client, I'm not going to tell a client just to like forget macros one day. And you know, everybody has those days where they're just starving for whatever reason, and we're all human. So to all of my clients that have kind of fallen off on a day, it happens, guys. We are all human. We're not perfect. There was a point in my life where I dieted for an entire year, counted macros for an entire year without going over my macros once. And I was so anal about it, and it was so crazy, and I was like, I will not go over fat, carb, or protein, like I wouldn't go over more than 5 grams, any of them. And I was like so proud of myself because I didn't cheat, and it meant so much. Discipline, yeah, but like nobody even ever knew about that. It doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal if you like go off your macros for one day every once in a while. No, it's not the same as a refeed. You want to stick to refeeds like 90% of the time if you can, especially if you're doing a bodybuilding show or men's physique show, which I'm not. But it's okay to be human every once in a while. You gotta be healthy about it, and you gotta not make a habit out of it, because there is a habit that can form out of binge eating and then cutting your calories down really low and getting really hungry again and then binge eating again. I've done that before. And that's probably what we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video, but we're going to try to keep this video short. This is just going to be a talking little video, because I wanted to tell you guys this. Other than that, I'm really tired. Don't really have a lot to talk about. I'm going to go do a legs deload, some cardio, and probably pass out later, because this is making me very tired, and I haven't slept a lot either. So I love you guys. Going to go check in with some clients and get an energy drink and head to the gym to do a legs deload. Let's make this red Rockstar famous. Just like so many YouTubers made the white Monster famous, let's make the red Rockstar famous, because this stuff is good. It's good. You gotta try this. Guys, if you haven't tried the watermelon Rockstar, sugar-free, it's so freaking good.
Sorry guys, I just got back from the gym. Let me finish this talk with you guys. So, as a bodybuilder, fitness enthusiast person, I've done all kinds of different diets. I've done If It Fits Your Macros, I've done meal plans, and I've done intuitive eating. Now, they all have their places, but meal plans, where they're just chicken and rice and egg whites and all that stuff, when you do that for 12 to 16 weeks, when you do that as a bodybuilder or a fitness competitor, it's the easiest way. If you're a food person, someone that likes food, that likes good food, like myself, it's the easiest way to develop an eating disorder, because not only are you sort of starving yourself on a small level, you're also restricting your food choices by 95% of what you probably normally eat. I'm in the off season. I'm very creative with the things that I try. Even when I'm dieting, I'm very creative with the meals that I put together, because I enjoy food. I enjoy tasty food. I enjoy diversity in my diet, because that's just how I am. I like to try new things frequently. When you're meal planning, you can't do that. You can't do any of that. You're eating the same food day in and day out, and it really doesn't change that much. The only thing you can really change is your, low sodium seasonings. So that's a problem, and that really leads to a lot of people developing eating disorders when they're dieting for their bodybuilding or their physique or their bikini shows, male or female. Now, the next best thing is, if it fits your macros, flexible dieting. And flexible dieting has its kind of pros and cons as far as your relationship to food. The good thing is you can be very, very flexible. Say you have 300 carbs, 70 grams of fat, and 160 grams of protein. You can fit any foods that you want into that. You can fit a cookie in every single day, and that's a lot better than just kind of the old style bro dieting meal plans. But at the same time, you are still restricting your calories. And I see something that happens to me that's completely the opposite of what would happen to me on meal planning. When I'm dieting on macros, what tends to happen to me sometimes is that I'll fit too much crap into my diet, and I'll start doing that more consistently. And when you do that, when you're on lower macros, when you're on a caloric deficit, and you fit too much processed food or too much calorie dense, low volume food into your diet when you're dieting, losing weight, what it does is increase your cravings, because you're not eating satiating foods, you're not eating foods with vitamins and stuff like that, so your body starts to really, really, really crave things, and so then you eat more of those foods that you're craving, like the cravey foods, which makes you have more and more cravings. And for me, in the past, I've done that over and over again until I just gave up and binged, and this was in the middle of a contest prep, and literally I was 148 pounds, binged one night, woke up the next morning at 161.8, and I was depressed for about a month or two after that. I think I was about 18 years old at this point. I'd gotten shredded, 148 pounds, but as far as the way I was thinking about food, my relationship with food was fucked. I was shredded, but my relationship with food was really, really bad. One of the other things that I'd started doing is I was enjoying so many high calorie, low density foods that I was addicted to those foods, even on very, very low calories, shredding down. And so what I was doing is I was just waking up in the morning starving, and just all I could think about was eating those foods, and I would just eat everything in the morning, and then I would have no macros for the rest of the day. So I was fasting every day, all day for 12 hours every single day. I was doing the opposite of what people usually do with intermittent fasting. I was not fasting in the morning, I was fasting all day after I ate in the morning. That's the opposite of what you want to do, because you get more hungry, you have more cravings at night, which really screws with your mind if you don't actually eat. So, macros, if you're me, can screw you up. Here's what you do, though. Here is what you do. You allow yourself, when you're counting macros, to actually fit something in your diet. Maybe once every day, maybe not even once a day. In my opinion, it's best not to start fitting more things into your diet. You can maybe fit one cookie into your diet if you can. If that one cookie ends up being less than 20% of your total caloric intake for the day. But if you start fitting in 2 or 3 cookies and 2 or 3 scoops of ice cream, that's when you start to go down a rocky road to hell in terms of eating high volume, low satiation foods, in terms of if it fits your macros. And eventually, after weeks or months, your willpower and your mind are going to be like, screw you, you're not giving me nutrients, I need more, and then you're just going into your cabinet, your pantry, and binge. And not really what happened to me yesterday. What happened to me yesterday is I was eating low volume foods all day that day, and I also went to the beach and walked for like 4 or 5 hours and made myself really hungry. And it was a refeed day that typically I'm just sitting there and doing nothing and eating 500 carbs so that I can fuel back up, physically, mentally, all that sort of stuff for Monday and the next week, because I'm going to be going back on a big calorie deficit and trying to like really grind and burn more fat. But instead of being at home being sedentary while I was eating those 500 carbs, I was at the beach walking, and the beach burns a lot of calories. Number one, you're out in the hot sun all day, so heating you up, it's going to burn a little bit more calories just because of, the thermal effect of heating you up. Burns a slight amount more calories. But mainly, the reason you burn more calories at the beach is because you're walking a lot, and it burns a lot of calories because of the really, really hard sand, the fact that you're walking a lot. It's kind of like a little bit of a leg workout because the sand is so hard. There's a lot of different factors into it, but I probably burnt like 1,000 extra calories that I normally do on the normal Sunday yesterday, which contributed to me eating whatever I ate yesterday night. I ate a good bit of food. I probably was in the high 3,000s, so not really that much worse than the typical refeed, but it really wouldn't have been much of a refeed anyway if I wouldn't have eaten more food because that 5 hours of walking that I did at the beach. But I'm really overthinking that. I think we all overthink things, and so the moral to what I'm saying here, guys, is whether you're doing a meal plan or if it fits your macros, it's really easy to kind of become food focused. And once you become really food focused and start thinking about your food, you get closer and closer and closer into that binge disorder. But here's the thing, guys. If you're dieting for something and you feel that coming, my best advice to you is, number one, get off the diet and work on that. Work on your relationship with food. So work on being less food focused. And that's one of the reasons why I don't diet down for shows all the time, because I know when I'm going to be dieting that I'm going to become more and more food focused as the diet goes on, and that I need so many months, if not a year, to rebound back from that and become less food focused. So the longer you diet, the larger the risk is for you really developing an eating disorder, and it's just nature for that to happen. We'll not go into that. We'll go into that on a different video, your leptin levels and how that affects everything and whatnot. But long story short, your leptin levels get a lot lower when you're getting leaner and you're cutting and you're on a calorie deficit, which makes you hungrier. And when you start binging, they don't just rise back up. They stay down low, so you just kind of keep binging and keep binging and keep binging and keep binging, and then slowly your leptin levels come back, but you've already gained back all the body fat that you took so long to lose. So binging is really, really bad. The ways that I've found to keep myself from binging is, number one, wake up in the morning. First thing you do, drink a cup of water. And then throughout the day when you're dieting, drink around a gallon of water if you're about 120 to 180 pounds. If you're 180 to 250, then you maybe can drink 1.5 gallons. If you're below 120, you might just need 3/4 a gallon of water a day. But drink that 1 cup in the morning and make sure to drink a lot of water throughout the day. Also make sure to drink a cup of water before you eat each meal. That will satiate you, make you feel more full. You won't shove your food down your throat as fast if you already have that cup of water. Number two, if you can, fast the first 2 to 4 hours of the day. The longer you can fast, in my opinion, the better. And then have your first big meal. Make sure that first big meal of the day is super filling. So super high volume foods like spinach leaves and cucumbers and celery sticks and vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and greens, and just make a salad out of all that stuff. Make sure that the food is super high volume, super filling. Use low calorie condiments like fat-free dressing, chicken, fish for protein, and maybe a little tiny bit of strawberries mixed in, because strawberries are very, very, very low calorie. And make sure that first meal of the day is very, very satiating. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water with that meal. And then have something small every day that you can enjoy that kind of beats a craving for you. So all those things together, as well as not eating super low volume, high calorie foods. Often don't do that. If you're going to eat something that is low volume, high calorie, just eat a little bit of it and save that for a refeed day if you have a refeed day. If not, try to stay away from the low volume, high calorie foods as much as possible, because those could lead to eating disorders when you are counting macros or dieting down for some sort of show. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like more information like this, I can make a video and go more in depth. I'm just trying not to make this video an hour long. I already know this is probably going to be 20 minutes of me talking, so thank you so much for sticking around, watching me hold the camera up by the window and talk about macros and bro dieting and your mental health as it regards to food and all that sort of stuff. I hope you guys actually got something from this video. Hope you can relate to it. I love you guys so much. All love. Until next time, like the video if you enjoyed it or it helped you. Comment if you have any questions or concerns about anything. I will answer the comments or address them in a separate video. Subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you guys next time.